everyone. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Chef AJ here with Chef AJ Live, where every day I bring you at least one interview with a very interesting person, often in the plant-based world, but sometimes not, because if I find them interesting, I'm still going to interview them. Today, I have a young man who is not only a plant-based entrepreneur, but he is really a master in the kitchen. He has his own cooking show, and he creates the most delicious SOS-free, that's sugar, oil, salt-free line of sauces, salad dressings, and now he has two new and improved dry mixes of a nacho cheese sauce and a mushroom gravy, and he might even make a recipe or two for us. Please welcome Dillon Holmes. Hello, Dillon.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for having me. Happy to be here.
Are you kidding? Wow, you're just, who are you? One day I didn't hear of you, and then now you're everywhere. You just rose to meteoric fame in the plant-based world overnight. How did this happen?
Wow.
Tell us your story.
Tell you my story? Well, I started eating healthy, I think back in 2016, and I started making videos in 2017, only after I tried doing the whole change the world method and get everybody to do it the way you're doing it, to no avail, of course. And then it was when I learned about Doug Lisle and all the psychology of all of this, and I was like, I've got no outlet. And so I started making videos, and it worked. So people, I guess, liked my videos, so I kept making videos, and that became my outlet for telling people, you know, the healthy way of eating and all this. So that sort of helped me just cope with being the only one, you know. So I used it kind of as an outlet, and it became a community, you know. So it was pretty awesome. And then I wanted to find a way to show, you know, be able to get people to, you know, make it as easy as possible. The whole theme of my channel is to make it as easy as possible. Get in and out of the kitchen as quickly as you can. And so then I came up with these dry mixes. Actually were the first product that I ever came out with. And then I'll tell you more about it. But then I came out with the bottled sauce thing and used the commercial kitchen. And because when I first started making these, I did it in my basement with this big food mixer. It was miserable. The whole house was covered in mushroom powder, and it was just awful. And so I stopped doing that, figured everything out with the commercial kitchen, and now they produced the latest batch. And we did tweak the recipe a little bit. Some people complained it was too spicy, so I took the crushed red pepper out of the cheese sauce, which I'll add back in my way. And then, you know, just tweak a little bit of this and that based on the feedback I got. So, and they've been selling well. I just launched them again yesterday, and we've had literally hundreds of orders. So I anticipate that after this video, I'll probably sell out in record time, which is great, but challenging.
Well, that should be the least of your problems. We have some really nice comments about you. Gina is saying, oh my God, I love Dillon. He's hilarious. You are hilarious. So I wish you would take stand-up comedy with me.
I know. All of a sudden I get a text message from AJ. You should take a stand-up comedy class with me. I guess it's on the internet.
I think you would be terrific at it. Well, your dresses are not only good for, quote, people that eat healthy or SOS free. They taste like what they're supposed to. Your sriracha sauce tastes like sriracha sauce. Your Italian dressing tastes like Italian dressing. You know, it's not like it's weird stuff. It's just yummy.
They taste better. I mean, the dressing, the salad dressings, I was pretty surprised that we were able to pull that off, because the flavor is, I mean, if you buy like the fat-free dressings at the store, let's be real, they're terrible. They taste like synthetic garbage. And these actually have whole food in them. So, you know, and then they're sweetened with real fruit instead of erythritol and all this garbage. So I was really happy. But yes, the first round of sauces, the sriracha, I was going to try out some ketchup and Indian sauce are two of my favorites for mixing, for doing some fries that I got going in my air fryer that I'm about to retire, because AJ, I've been getting nothing but pressure from you and from my entire audience about getting the Breville Smart Oven Air. And I set this alert on my phone. So I first tried to buy it at Bed Bath & Beyond. Like you said, I might be able to slip under the radar and use the 20% off coupon. That didn't work, at least on the internet, and I'm not going into the store right now. I'm avoiding all that.
Anyway, Bed Bath & Beyond is closed anyway right now.
So I put an alert on this Amazon thing, and all of a sudden yesterday, the price dropped to $320, which is 20% off. And so I purchased it yesterday on the internet. And so this will be the last time you see the old school air fryer.
Nice, terrific.
Your influence worked.
Uh, Jan says, I just bought the cheese gravy and Italian dressing last night. The other 5 bottles came last week. Now I'm ready for a month of
Oh, wow.
self-isolation.
There
And
you go.
Michelle says, the salad dressings are so yummy and I have a choice when I eat my salads now. And you know, his sauces and dressings, to me, they're interchangeable. I mean, one may be called a sauce and one may be called a dressing, but I use his dressings for sauce and I've used his sauce as dressing, so.
Yeah, me too. In fact, the sweet heat, like we did on the video when I was over there earlier this month or last month, the sweet heat and the mustard are so good as dipping sauces. And the Italian, if you're like roasted veggies, I really like dipping the Italian on the balsamic. The Catalina is kind of like a fancy ketchup that's sweeter for a salad dressing type of a palate. But yeah, some of them are already sold out, unfortunately, and that is all Chef AJ's fault. So if you have a problem with that, please take it up with her, Drew.
But if you want to get the remaining flavors, go to wellyourworld.com/Chef AJ, and Dillon will give you a month free of his wonderful cooking show. So that would be a very nice bonus as well.
Yeah, the cooking show is like you see here. I'm demoing. I even have my gear set up. We got the other camera angles. Here's my cutting board camera angle. I've got some beans on the stove that I'm going to play with here soon. So this is what it looks like in the cooking show. We have one this weekend, actually. And yes, so if you go to Chef AJ's link, there's no discount code you have to put in or anything like that. You don't even have to make a purchase necessarily, but I want you to. And you can get, if you go to wellyourworld.com/Chef AJ, you'll see a few links there. And one of them is to sign up for a free month of the cooking show. We're doing our Easter a la quarantine this weekend. So we're going to try to make some Easter pantry style food, and we'll see what happens.
When did you get so, I mean, have you always been so talented in the kitchen, or just when you started to eat healthy?
No, I don't think I have any real talent in the kitchen. I'm not a chef. I don't know chefy things. I got good at using a knife, but there's nothing I do that requires anything other than experience. So anybody new to this, yeah, I've got a leg up on you because you haven't done it that long. But when I started, I was not good at this. I didn't understand which spices that I liked necessarily, which ones you got to use a 1/4 teaspoon of and which ones you can use a full teaspoon of and things like that. That all kind of comes with practice, but I'm nothing special in the kitchen. We just have fun. We have a community. Everybody's hanging out in the chat box. Reeves, my girlfriend, is here and she's fielding questions much like you're doing right now with me. And we just hang out and have a good time for an hour, hour and a half. And so it's cool.
Well, that sounds great.
And it's fun with the camera angles and everybody can see everything and I can switch them right here. So I am kind of a tech nerd. I have an engineering background. So that's where I think it's kind of a special show because I don't think anybody else is doing it quite as fancy pants as we are. But
well, I have an idea. Why don't you just start producing cooking shows for all the rest of us then, since you are such a tech nerd?
Are you going to come to my kitchen and do it?
I guess I'm going to have to drive.
The gear here?
What is it, a 4-hour drive? Maybe I'll have to.
You have a pretty awesome, your kitchen is laid out a lot like mine. The big island, I have the stove right here. Your stove's a little different spot, but it's essentially, we have all the same features. And in another few days, maybe I'll put the Breville Smart Oven Air just right here if it fits. And then we've got it all in the shot. Because normally my oven's over here. So, not that you use the oven all that much for the way we cook, but
right.
According to you, you use the Breville like every day. So yeah, I'm going to have to figure it out.
Because you also live in a warm climate like me, I stopped using my double ovens brand new because they heat up the whole house. The Breville just doesn't.
Yeah, that's definitely, it radiates out when you're standing here. So that'll be cool.
Cool.
So anyway, I can show you how I like to, what I've got in mind here for our time together. This won't take very long. I'll sit down and stop fidgeting eventually. But I got some potatoes that we did in the air fryer. I wanted to show you how I like to do my cheese sauce, sort of beans and pico style, like I always like to do on my channel. So you tell me, what do the people want?
People, what do you want? Type and tell us what you want. Intelligent Eating says, maybe give us a rundown of the gear you're using. I don't know if he means the gear you're using for shooting or the gear you're using for cooking.
Okay, well, for cooking, you probably know these things. An old school generic air fryer, a Vitamix with the, I'm going to use the little canister. These are handy, the little canisters. Reeves had this. And we're really using nothing. So I assume the person is asking about gear for camera stuff. And that would be a really long, tedious, boring question for some people. But I have 3 different cameras. You can see this camera, right? That's up here pointing at the stove. And then they all come into this hardware switcher, and I can just switch between them, and depending on what we're doing, and away we go. And I've got my mic here so that I can talk and walk around at the same time. Normally, I'm not wearing my beautiful diamond earrings, but that's so that I can hear Chef AJ talking to me, because normally Reeves would be sitting right here, and I don't have to listen to anything through the internet.
We've got 4 votes from Donna, Linda, Michelle, and Julie for you to do the cheese sauce. And Stephanie says, how strong is the taste of nutritional yeast in both? I like it, but I don't love it.
It's not very strong in the gravy. There is a little bit of nooch, but it's not very much. The cheese sauce is obviously quite nutritional yeasty. I mean, it's yellow. Once you blend this up, it looks kind of white because it's also the main base that thickens everything up is russet potato flakes. No additive russet potato flakes. So these are very clean. So that once you blend it together, it's pretty yellow. So this is the cheesier of the two, the noochier of the two. So if you don't like nooch, then you might not like this, but the gravy, it's very subtle. There's just a tiny bit to give it a little zip, a little tang. It's pretty simple. Mostly the gravy is mushroom powder and potatoes, and then all of your parsley, sage, rosemary, thyme, marjoram, things like that. So, and this, so I won't do the gravy today. I posted a video on my channel yesterday that shows on the label here, it says, go to this video to see how I like to use it. So I finally posted that video yesterday because we just launched this yesterday. And it just shows how I make potatoes and gravy. And then what else did we do? We did some cheese with fries or whatever we did a waffle potato thing with the potato smashed in the waffle iron,
That was amazing,
that trick.
but it looked like your potato was peeled. I didn't think you could do it if the potato was peeled.
Were those russets that I used?
It looked like they were russets.
Yeah, I think I just cooked them in the Instant Pot whole, and then I grabbed a couple off the top because those tend to not be the ones that were sitting in the water, because I don't usually use the trivet for when I do potatoes. And no, they smashed just fine without the peel, without the skin. Nice. And then today we did the gold. So I did this thing that Janine of Potato Reset, y'all know her, she did on her channel, where she took potatoes and just mashed them into a Tupperware. There's nothing in these except these were gold potatoes. And then we just kind of cut them like this, put them in the fridge overnight. You know the fridge trick because you're the one who taught it to me. And then take out a piece like this, and you can cut it into these kind of like steak fries and throw those in the air fryer, and they come out really nice. The golds, though, were way more flimsy in here when you mash them up. So I've done them with russets before. They could turn out a little bit better, but that's how it goes. So I can show you how I do that, but we should blend up some cheese sauce first.
Nice. Jennifer says, who is the chef man? Well, this is Dillon Holmes from Well Your World. He's a creator of a whole line of SOS-free dressings and sauces. And if you go to wellyourworld.com/chefaj, you can check them out. Wow, Sherry
Sauce
said,
boss, not sauce man, sauce boss.
Sauce boss, excuse me. He was a sauce man, but now he's the sauce boss.
Oh.
Emma says, are your products either organic or non-GMO?
I don't know of any GMO. They're not organic yet. I will work toward that. I'll probably start with the most popular items. I'll eventually do an organic for, but we're brand new. I only started doing this about a year ago, and so I haven't gotten to organic yet. I don't think there's anything GMO because it's just like tomatoes, dates, figs, raisins. I do use organic raisins because I wanted to use the ones that didn't have the sulfite thing, the preservative. So it was organic raisins just because I'm a stickler for the additives thing, which many of you are too, I'm sure. And so I don't know of anything that would be I got a couple of them have a little bit of citric acid because you got to make them shelf stable. And the way to make them shelf stable is to make sure that the pH is right. And sometimes you got to use a little bit of citric acid at the end just to control the pH. But if it's in there, it's on the label. So other than that, I mean, they're pretty darn clean, other than they're not yet organic, which we'll work toward in the future.
Right.
So,
There's two people, Wanda and Linda, that want to adopt you, but I don't think your
oh
parents
wow.
like that. So,
Well, they can't claim me as a dependent anymore. So, I don't know if it's up to my parents.
would you ship to Switzerland? Patrick wants to know.
I'm working on more. Right now, I only have the USA, you get free shipping on $50 orders. So that's, you buy one of each of these. These each make a gallon of sauce, by the way, for 25 bucks. So if you get one of each of those, that's 50 bucks free shipping to the USA. Canada's I'm getting pretty affordable shipping rates to Canada. And then I also can ship to the UK, New Zealand, and Australia. Those are a little more expensive. I'm hoping in a few months, FedEx is working on this program that's going to integrate with my website so that I can get way cheaper international rates, but it's still a few months away. And then with the virus, who knows? So I am working on it. I don't have it set up yet to like all the various European countries and et cetera, but it is definitely something I'm working on and I care about, because this is the only place to buy them is on my site. I don't have them in stores and all that. So, so yeah.
I love my
What else?
dressings, says Sherry. And
Good.
let's see, we have a question. Citric acid source, Jamie wants to know.
It's not corn. This is the question I got yesterday. I forgot to finish that thought before I moved on to the next one. But someone was asking about GMO as it relates to citric acid. First of all, it's a minuscule amount of citric acid, as you probably know. But it is not a corn. It is a non-GMO citric acid. I asked my supplier that yesterday and did get confirmation that it's not one of the corn-based ones that use the GMO corn or whatever it is.
Great. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So should I make some sauce?
Yeah, now I'll read the questions. I can read them a little bit later. So
you just keep interrupting me anytime. I don't care. I mean, none of this is complex or scientific in any way. All I'm going to do is mix up a little sauce. And I want to show you that none of this requires measuring or ratios or anything. You just kind of put as much water in as you want to become a sauce, and you just kind of wing it. Add it as you go. So let me grab this kettle, and I'm just going to make like, how much do I want to make? Like a cup or two? So I use boiling water. It's already hot when it comes out. Some people will put room temp water and they'll blend it for however many minutes it takes to actually heat it. Like if you were to do a blended soup in the Vitamix, you could do it that way. But I like to get it hot, cook some of those spices in there and stuff. And so I'll add the water first so that the powder doesn't get all stuck at the bottom, like when you add it to a damp blender sometimes and it like crusts and doesn't mix up right. So I'll usually throw the water in first, little hack there. And then I took the crushed red pepper out of this, so it is mild. There's a little bit of black pepper in both. AJ, you and I are talking about that. Sorry. I know you don't eat the black pepper.
I'm
I'll have
actually,
to make you a custom.
It's not that I don't like it, guys. I'm actually allergic to black pepper, which is a real difficult thing, especially if you try to eat at restaurants and stuff. So I would love him to have a pepper-free version. That's why I got into Benson's Table Tasty, believe it or not, because she was literally the only salt-free seasoning I could find with no black pepper, without her customizing it. It just happened to have no black pepper, because all the ones that everyone else loves, like the Costco, the Kirkland's, the Trader Joe's 21 Salute, black pepper was a prominent ingredient.
Okay. I want to work on, that's one thing, because we now have it figured out to do the dry blends. I would like to do some spice blends, and then also you could buy them in bulk so that, you can buy a bigger than a 2-ounce bottle or whatever they are, 3 ounce. And then I could have some different spice blends that I could just make a quick video, because I mean, I'm a YouTuber at the core of this. And so I started out making recipe videos. And if I could just be like, throw a few of these pantry items in the Instant Pot, 3 tablespoons of Spice Blend B, and away you go. So I do want to work on those. I'm also working on a marinara and a chunky salsa. Excuse me. I'm also working on a marinara and a chunky salsa, again, SOS free. And so those are 2 products that are under development right now that I'm very excited about.
Gina says you remind her of Charles Grodin. It's hard to be deadpan funny. Are you old enough to remember who Charles Grodin is?
Yeah. And I've gotten that a couple of times before. And maybe it was her that had said it to me before in one of my videos.
What's with the pico? Yeah. Everybody's asking for pico.
I could make pico. I have everything here for it. I could grab some lime. We'll just make it into a pico. If the people want pico de gallo, then we'll make it as a pico. Simple enough.
Cindy, the website is wellyourworld.com, but if you go to wellyourworld.com/chefaj, you can get a free month of his wonderful cooking show where there is a lot of fun to be had.
Yeah, we have one this weekend, so you'll get a couple of episodes and you get access to all the 40+ back episodes that we've done, the recipe PDFs that I attached to the replay so you can download a PDF of the recipe. It's pretty slick. We've got it figured out finally. It only took a year and a half. So I'm going to add these are the chili pods that you can buy like at the Latin market, which we have everywhere in Phoenix because we have a lot of Latin culture here. So I love these chili pods, and I'll just break the top off like I did here and dump the seeds into a bowl. And I'll throw these in my cheese sauce every time. I love, and you don't have to get the really spicy ones, though they give it a nice flavor. But since not everybody likes that flavor, I left it out of the actual product and I just add it for me. And so that's it. You can throw in, if you're doing nuts, I know not a lot of Chef AJ followers do the nut thing, but I will sometimes throw in a handful of cashews if you want to, get it richer. But that's optional. It's delicious just by itself. And I'll try to, it's a zipper bag. That's new and improved too. My old one did not have a zipper, and people were like, "This is annoying. Get a zipper bag." So I got a zipper bag. Shake it up a little, and you just kind of start with a little bit, and then give it a buzz. Pardon the blender for 2 seconds. And I can see that this is way too liquidy. So I'm just going to keep adding. So this is why I'm saying you don't need to measure anything. And if you add too much and it's too thick, well, then you go back and add a little water. So you play with it a little, you'll get the hang of it in no time. And then I showed on my channel yesterday that you can also just whisk it up. There's nothing in here that needs a blender. You could just whisk it up and away you go. So that looks like a pretty nice thick cheese sauce. Here, take a look.
Wow, it's beautiful.
You can kind of see the little red bits of spice. So this is now a little bit more orange than it would be for others that don't add the chili pods, of course. But so the cheese sauce is ready to go. That's how simple it is. Hot water, cheese sauce, boom, you're done. Throw that on top of pasta and you've got mac and cheese in an instant. So it's really simple. All right, let's make some pico. Everybody wants pico.
Wanda wants to know if you've ever blended it with almond, rice, or soy milk.
I have done soy milk. Some people like soy milk. I haven't done almond or rice milk because I usually do that Trader Joe's soy milk that's less than $2 and is only soybeans and water. I mean, you can't go wrong. So I just use that. It's easier than making it. So I'll do soy milk sometimes, and that'll give it a little bit of a creamier flavor. So if you're not adding nuts, then maybe you want to do the soy milk to give it a little bit of richness, or almond milk or whatever.
Karen asks, which dried peppers are not the spicy ones?
Well, that's a good question. Usually on the bag, like here, check out this bag. So like these say New Mexico chili. They have all different names and everything, but they're usually going to say, like this one says muy picoso, extra hot. So they're going to say on there usually and then they have a green version, a green bag that are the mild version. So usually it will say whether they're spicy or not. You're not just gambling, you know what I mean? You'll actually get what you want. So I'm going to chop up a little jalapeno. Let me get a little bowl because now apparently we're making pico. I'll use this one. No, that's too small. What else are they saying?
Gina says, Dillon wouldn't know anything non-spicy.
I know, right? I do like spicy food and I like temperature hot food. If you don't know me, I like to dig in while it still burns through your entire esophagus. No, I'm exaggerating, but I do like it hot. So now I'm just going to chop one of these jalapenos. Like I don't even have sensitivity to jalapenos anymore. Like with my hands, for example, it's just those sensors are just burned through.
Wait, are you left-handed?
I am left-handed.
Wow.
Tell me more. You're the astrologist in the room.
I think that must mean you're creative, right? You're a lefty.
I mean, I'm creative at certain things, but I don't think I've ever drawn a doodle in my life.
That's
So
good.
I would not put myself in the artist category. I played saxophone my whole life, so I guess there's got to be some level of creativity in that.
And you took the seeds out of the jalapeno?
I did.
Yeah, good.
Okay, there's some jalapeno. Let's do a little red onion. We're making I don't usually make a tiny batch of pico. Usually if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. But we're just making a small little batch. And I've got next to me, over to my left here, a bowl of quinoa that we just had in the fridge. I don't necessarily do this with quinoa, but it could be done with rice. It could be done with potatoes. It could be done with your own homemade corn chips if you do those. It could be done any which way. And I'm just going to show you that let's do some tomatoes here. Is this knife sharp enough? Yeah.
You talk about your basement, and I didn't know any homes in California had basements. When I lived in Chicago, everybody had a basement. I've never seen a basement. Oh, you're not in California, that's why.
Well, they don't really have basements here. I don't know what I was thinking when I built this house. I took the architect's word for it, thinking that maybe I'll get lucky and won't build the house on a rock crater. But no, it was. And so it was actually pretty miserable putting this basement in. I upset a lot of neighbors, but we've recouped. And so
And is that
there
where
is a basement.
is that where you're storing all your dry starch for the apocalypse?
I was going to do a video. I need to do a video. Reeves and I are talking about it, doing one with a little pantry tour and then a basement tour. I like to store starches. I was already stocked up long before the virus hit. I did some canning with the starches that I had. I bought a little bit more of various things, some quinoa and things that I don't carry in the 5-gallon buckets. But for the most part, I've got a lot of starch on hand, simply not because I'm a prepper. I don't think that I'm like a prepper, but I do hate running out of things and then having to go to the store just to get a mason jar's worth of beans. So I just like, well, screw it. If I'm going to buy extra that I'm going to refill the mason jar with, why don't I just buy the 25-pound bag, save 5%, put it in a bucket, and then it's just right there. So I got these racks in the basement, and so that's what I do with my starches.
So I can
I'm
understand.
just a nerd. It's just nerdiness.
Storing like things like oats and rice and beans, I get it. They last a really long time. But how are you able to store so many potatoes? Because don't you get eyes on them?
No, I don't store the potatoes. I do in the pantry. I've got a basket, so I'll buy like 10 pounds of potatoes at a time. So that is one thing that I do have to. I keep those. I don't consider that a dry starch. So I do the potatoes.
We're getting a request for you to sing a few bars of Nick's wedding song from Lulu's mom.
Well, your world people are infiltrating your chat box. How do you feel about that?
That's okay. We welcome
singing.
all kinds of people.
I'm not singing for you live. Are you kidding? There's a video of that. You can watch it on repeat.
So funny. I'm just curious because I know that you lost a little bit of weight you weren't ever like obese, and you don't strike me as somebody that's a food addict. And I'm always amazed when somebody young that doesn't seem to have the same kind of problems that I have, like, why would you have to eat SOS free? Doesn't it seem too strict and too restrictive, the way you're eating because that's what people tell me about the way we eat, how restrictive it is and how orthorexic it is and how extreme it is not to eat oil, salt, and sugar.
Well, everybody watching knows the HCNC because I hear you say it all the time. And if you think I'm not one of those, well, come on, that's why I'm here. It doesn't require that I necessarily get into a bunch of trouble, but I came here because I didn't want to get into trouble because I'm nuts like you.
Thank you.
So you're welcome. And so anyway, yeah, I was kind of searching for this healthy thing. I went vegan, but I ate all vegan junk food for like 3 years. And I was like, what? T. Colin Campbell said, if I remove the animal product, then I'm going to live forever. And that wasn't happening. My cholesterol was going up. My blood pressure was going up. And my mom actually had a really high, she's in the chat box. I see her name keep popping up, Michelle. But she had a high cholesterol scare. And we're like, okay, clearly the vegan thing is better, but not doing what I thought it would. Let's read some more books. And that's when I found The Starch Solution is what we started with. We both read it in like 2 days, started our first 30-day challenge to ourselves. And then we both dropped our cholesterol by 40 points in 1 month. And I dropped like 15 pounds in 1 month. My heaviest was like 190 something pounds. So yeah, I never crossed over into overweight, but I was getting pudgy. And I lost like 30 pounds in 2 or so months, which my body sheds fat faster than normal, obviously. So I had a little advantage there. But at the end of the day, I just want to always find the healthiest thing I can do. Am I going to do it perfectly at all times? Do I eat completely SOS free? No, I do not. I'll sprinkle on salt. Sometimes when I make this cheese sauce, in fact, often I'll add maybe a little bit of miso paste or something like that. So I do add salt to the food, but I try to do it like McDougall says, don't cook with the salt, add it at the table. But as far as oil, there's no oil in the house ever used unless we had some random party and there was something like chips or something, I don't know. But the only time I'll usually eat oil is if I go out to eat. And we have that pretty well on lock. And actually the world has that pretty well on lockdown right now. So it's been a healthy month.
Right. In case you're wondering, HCNC is Dr. Lyle's acronym for hyper-conscientious nutcase. Bertha wants to know, what is the Lula knife?
The Lula knife?
Lulu knife.
Ulu knife.
Oh no, okay. Everybody's calling it a LULU knife, a Lulu knife.
I don't know how it's spelled. Reeves is in the chat box. She's the one who likes that Ulu, and it was Tammy at Nutmeg Notebook that often uses one. Am I wrong with those Holland bowls she likes?
Or it's called, yes, it can be an Ulu or it can be a mezzaloon. Yep.
Okay. I've got one here. Let me show you what I think I have a pretty low end thing that I found, or maybe my mom gave me this actually. And there's the Ulu, you can see with and then it's got this special shallow kind of bowl that I guess you can do. I don't even know how to use it. You see me use this other knife fluently. So why would I go learn a new skill that comes with its own fancy bowl? I just got a cutting board and a knife. So
it's for chopping herbs and things like that. Everybody wants a basement tour sometime if you can.
Oh boy, that's personal, but yeah, I'll do it.
Because Nancy wants to know, how long can you store beans?
We'd have to Google that. I mean, but they're at least 6 months, and it doesn't take me that long to go through 25 pounds. There are a few things I have in the buckets. I should do quinoa, but quinoa is kind of on the expensive side. Green split peas, red lentils, regular green lentils. I do like a black bean, a pinto bean, a mayokoba bean. I have 3 kinds of beans, and I like to can them. Canning them kind of overcooks them. So if you want like a whole bean, like the ones I'm going to show you that I took out of an aluminum can, they tend to be more whole and less overcooked and mushy. So I'll use the canned beans sometimes, but if you can them to like the guidelines, I don't know if anybody watching's into pressure canning. That's kind of I love homesteading type of stuff. So I love doing it myself for no reason other than it's fun, you know? And I didn't see the apocalypse coming. I am not a prepper. I didn't have racks and racks of jars, but I did a lot of canning when it kind of hit. We're gonna need some garlic for this now. I wasn't anticipating the garlic. This is the cheater garlic. Don't give me crap for this.
No, I love it. It's too hard to peel garlic.
So much work. It's not as strong, so I tend to use a little more, but you know, how much time did I just save?
A lot. Lisa wants to know what your go-to knife for chopping vegetables is.
This is this is a G5. There's a link on my Amazon store, which you can find at wellyourworld.com/gear, GEAR. And this is the G5, but you know, don't get too caught up on the knife. Like this is a knife that I randomly chose because it had good reviews, and then I just started using it, got used to the feel and how to hold it and the balance and how to, you know, chop and move my wrist around, and it just became the knife that I really like. But like, if you look at this other knife, this is another Japanese knife that I bought to try, that it has you can see there's way more of a radius here. So when you're chopping with this, there's way more wrist action here. And I just didn't get used to it the same as I get used to this one. So I barely ever take this one out. This is a Dalstrong Shogun is the knife. That's in my store too, if anybody wants to look. It's a great knife, but I just didn't get the feel for it like my current knife. So I've been really liking these global ones. I use this serrated one sometimes. If I let this one get too dull, I like the serrated one for like tomatoes. But normally, if I keep my knife sharp, I can go through 25 pounds of tomatoes and make a monster batch of pico in a jiff. Okay, pico, mini pico. Did I forget anything for this? We only threw in 1 jalapeno, which is almost blasphemous. I would put at least 3 jalapenos for a little bowl like this, but you know, whatever. You guys asked for it on demand, and so you're getting it. Okay, pico.
That looks so delicious.
Lime, cilantro, tomato, red onion, jalapeno. You could use like a green chili if you're afraid of jalapeno, all you wimps watching. And it's that simple. This is like my favorite sauce, but the problem is you can't make like that's why I'm gonna do a chunky salsa, which is the closest thing you can get to pico, and it'll be SOS free. So that's, I hope to have that in a few months. We'll see. I'm gonna get the first test batch soon, and then we'll kind of go from there. So here's what I'm gonna do. I've got this bowl of quinoa that I just reheated. It's still warm. It's not as hot as I like it, but, and then I'm gonna do, so I let this cheese sauce sit for a little bit. Because this cheese sauce, oh, I need a little more water. This thickened up a lot. Because the cheese sauce is potato based, once you let it cool, it's gonna thicken like a mashed potato kind of would. Because the potato is our thickener without a lot of strong flavor, you know what I mean? So that's why I chose the russet flakes. I'm gonna just add a couple tablespoons. Let's give this another quick zip, and then I'll put this thing together, and then you can watch me eat. Okay. So now I'm gonna put on a little cheese first, because why wouldn't you? Oh yeah, there we go. That looks good. And then let's go over and get these beans. Check out these beans. I just had these beans on low sitting here. Oh yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna spoon on some beans. Let me give you the close up. Whoops. There's the beans. Throw on some beans in here. Don't hold back. I mean, for Instagram, I have to hold back a little so that you know that there's actually quinoa at the bottom of this bowl. But, you know, normally you wouldn't even see the quinoa. Then, okay, pinky beans. And then what else have we got? So everything's in pico now. So now it's just gonna be, I wasn't gonna do anything else. Yeah, we have it all in this bowl now. So now let's throw on some pico like that. Why don't we just do the whole bowl, hey buddy? Why not? Save
That
a little
looks
for later.
amazing. God.
And that is what I do with the cheese sauce. Did I get a spoon to taste this?
Emma says, what's the best way to cook quinoa, Dillon? Hers turns out like porridge.
You're overcooking it, or maybe there's too much water. What do you think, AJ?
Well,
what is it, like 15 minutes?
I always cook mine in the Instant Pot, and it comes out perfectly. I do 1 part quinoa to 1.5 cups water. I do it for about 1 minute, but I let it rest. I think if you release the pressure too soon, if you just leave your grains for a little bit in the Instant Pot, you know, they come out perfect.
I've only done it in I think I do 2 to 1 on the stove. And then it takes like 15 minutes. And once the water's low, it's done. You know, once the water's mostly been absorbed or evaporated, it's done. I'll just cover it on low. Like I put it on like 2 on the stove. I gotta top this off with a little more cheese.
Oh
yeah, baby.
Why don't you open up a bowl? Hey, how about opening up a bowl restaurant?
Well, yeah, restaurant's a really good business to be in right now, AJ. Thank you for the recommendation.
Kidding.
But no, I have dreamt of that. It would be so fun. If we could get customers to come to some sort of a virtual restaurant and we could figure out the technology where when you take a virtual bite of something, you actually feel it in your stomach. Now that would be something, because our community is large, just not in Phoenix. I mean, maybe there are a few of us here. In fact, Lulu was making that comment about whatever it was, singing, and she's in Arizona. So, oh yeah.
Yeah, that looks amazing. It looks absolutely amazing.
I mean, essentially, I got to get the rest of this in here.
Gina says she's having trouble.
Just the porridge.
Gina says she's having trouble finding nice tomatoes. Would you ever use like canned fire roasted tomatoes for the pico?
Oh, so she's having trouble finding fresh, nice tomatoes. You could. Those fire roasted ones have a lot of salt in those cans often. So watch for that, because I do not like salt. If I buy canned veggies, like if that's what we're calling them, tomatoes canned or beans canned, I make sure to get the no salt added, because I'll eat 2 cans of beans. I eat a quart of beans in one sitting. This would be an equivalent of 2 cans of beans and a quart of pico. Well, not a quart of pico, but that would be a lot of salt. That would be a couple thousand milligrams of sodium. Am I wrong? For 2 whole cans? I mean, you can rinse some of it out, blah, 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 but like, that's a lot of salt. So so I haven't found a fire roasted tomato that doesn't have a bunch of salt in it. But you can make this as a salsa. I have some videos on my channel how I make a blended salsa, like your run-of-the-mill burrito shop, Filiberto's type of salsa, red salsa, green salsa. But you could easily do a chunky salsa like this. Like you just saw me do the pico. You could use a can of diced tomatoes if you can't find tomatoes, no big deal. And then the rest of it, throw it in your food processor and just give it a few pulses, and you got a looser, more liquidy salsa instead of this drier kind of salady, chunky pico like you saw me make. And what do you think?
Wanda's saying Muir Glen has fire roasted canned tomatoes that are salt free.
What is that, a store? Muir
It's a
Glen?
brand, and you can get it. I see it at Sprouts and Whole Foods and online. Muir Glen. They also make one with salt, but they do make a salt-free one. And Plant Based is asking me how I cook my quinoa in the Instant Pot. That they don't have the manual button. That's how I do it, is on the manual button for 1 to 2 minutes. I don't know how to use the rice button. I never read the book that came with the Instant Pot, unfortunately.
Yeah, I only use the manual button, but I've never done quinoa on the rice in the Instant Pot yet.
It comes out
We've
really
done
good.
rice.
You gotta let it rest. It's 1 to 1.5 in the Instant Pot, and it comes out really good.
Yeah, well, lots of
Nice.
ways. But if it's getting mushy, it's got to be. I'm gonna get this chair. Let's get more comfortable, shall we?
Do you rinse your quinoa first?
Definitely. It's pretty starchy. I've heard of people having digestive issues when they don't rinse it. I do not know if that is a myth or if it's real, but I do rinse it, and it's always very starchy in the sink after when I am rinsing it. So, yeah.
Yeah. Plant Based is asking me a question, but you can weigh in on it too. Hi, Chef AJ. Do you find that seeds like chia seeds stall your weight loss? Would you recommend hemp seeds in a dressing if you're losing weight? I'm so afraid of using nuts since I'm losing weight. I have not. I personally don't. I mean, I do use chia seeds, but I'm not eating them. I'm using them as a thickener. So like I'll have my recipe, for example, for my lemon poppy seed dressing has 1 teaspoon of chia seeds for a huge batch, and my barefoot dressing has a half a tablespoon for a very, very huge batch. But I don't eat any overt fats, nuts, seeds, or avocados, and I haven't for over 8 years. And every year I get my fatty acid profile done, and every year it just gets better and better.
What does that entail? That fatty acid profile? What do they do?
It's a blood test, because there's certain people that feel like if you don't eat nuts or seeds, you're going to drop dead. And I don't believe that to be true, because I've interviewed people like Dr. Rick Dina, who really is an expert on this, because if you're eating enough vegetables, particularly greens, you're getting enough of these essential omega-3 fatty acids. But it's just a simple blood test. Now, you can get a finger stick, but I don't think that's as accurate as going to the phlebotomist. And then it's called a fatty acid profile. It measures the level of omega-3, omega-6, DHA, ALA, EPA, the conversion, the ratio. And then if people really are worried about this, they can actually get it tested. But, I just interviewed Dr. McDougall. He said there's never been a case of the fatty acid deficiency. So,
well, there you go.
Yep.
Yeah, I haven't had that one done, but based on, because you've said this in other videos, I've said to people, you can get the test. I know it exists, but I've never done it.
Yeah, you have to ask your doctor for it. It's a blood test, and Quest can do it, or whatever the blood labs you have. There's even websites where you can get your own blood tests if your doctor didn't want to order it, for example.
Yeah, we can do that in Arizona. You can order your own blood work and then pretend like you're a doctor and then read it yourself and then get it all wrong. And but that's what I did for like when I was first starting, and I wanted to see what impact this whole eating thing would have on my cholesterol. I did a before and after cholesterol test that I just ordered online for like $20, maybe $30, $20. And you show up, they do their thing, and then a day later you've got the results. Pretty cool.
Nice.
So if you were wanting to do, but I wouldn't get too fancy. I wouldn't get a whole blood panel and then try to go interpret it yourself. I'm not advocating for just doing all your own blood tests and ordering one of everything, but it is handy for when you want to just see how you're doing, your main numbers that we all worry about with the cholesterol and heart disease and all that. That's a pretty easy one. So,
And what's nice is we have
the one you said.
So many of the wonderful plant-based doctors are doing telemedicine now.
What are you seeing? What's are they setting it up on their website where you can just book an appointment and you just do it?
So
or
I just last week interviewed Dr. Lori Marvis in Colorado, and it's plant-based telemedicine, I think it's .com. And so she's going to be able to do this in 30 states. And I know Dr. Barnard has a telemedicine now, and the True North doctors have always done consults through phone or Skype. So it's very, Dr. Clapper. So it's pretty easy now to get an appointment with the plant-based doctor to analyze your blood tests.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I think, I don't want to talk like this is a positive thing, but I think some positive things will come of it. The least of which will be preparedness, maybe the country. Anyway, without getting into politics, I think that being forced to move these things toward telemedicine, doctors get comfortable. They got enough things they got to deal with, learn how to, continuing education. If this pushes them toward telemedicine more quickly, it could end up being a real benefit for people that don't have access to smart doctors in their real life community, because all the local doctors are full of it. And so how nice would it be to get a second opinion? I've got my blood work here. Let me email it over to you or whatever. And let's talk about it. And I just think, because most of us don't need to sit on the chair and get our knees banged with a hammer or whatever they do. We just need to have a conversation with someone who's smart that can tell us how to deal with the issues that we have. And so that's pretty cool.
Cool. So what else you got?
Not much. I'm noticing my hair is getting long. I've got a quarantine beard going. Reeves might cut my hair. It's getting a bit unruly. I got another week or two, I think, before we get into trouble.
I don't know. I just got a text saying that starting tomorrow, nobody should go out for 2 weeks from the National Health Service. What do you think of that?
I mean, I never go out, so I've been doing this for years. I shouldn't joke like that.
You're so deadpan. You'd be perfect. I hope you'll take the class with me. You're hilarious. Then you can add a comedy section to your cooking class.
So much pressure. Now then I have to do a bit. Oh gosh, I've never written anything for my comedy. If you do stand up, you have to write a bit.
Right. No, well, but that's the thing.
You gotta say it over and over. Then people are gonna hear you like multiple times giving the same bit, and they're like, "Oh, we heard that last time." It's sort of landed.
Well, you got to find new audiences. But the thing is what's nice about this class is he teaches you how to write. So that's kind of fun. It's a nice creative.
I'm sure I would enjoy it. I'm being sarcastic, but I'm sure I would like it very much.
But
I've never considered it. I've never thought of doing something like that. Definitely out of my comfort zone.
Yeah. Well, I think you'd be great. Oh, Stephanie's saying that the Kirkland brand of quinoa is already rinsed for you. And that's true that some of the brands do come already rinsed, because I think if you rinse it, you've got to be careful how much water, because I think you need less water, because when you rinse it, it does retain some of that water. Because when I've rinsed it, yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, so just, yeah, I do like the pre-rinse, because then it always comes out really good. If you can find it,
I want to keep eating on camera, but I'm just going to set this aside and we'll reheat it.
I know that happens
after the show.
Me. That happens to me too, all the time. Like when we did our.
Then you have to listen to my chewing. You can literally hear my swallowing because the microphone is right on my throat. So I should be more mindful, and we'll just sit still. But no, the quarantine's going fine. I am a bit more of an introvert. I know it may seem like I'm an extrovert because I do this whole camera thing, and I'm not. So this isn't as bad as for me as like for Reeves, who is more of an extrovert, and she's very open and likes to do crazy random things. So this week, and I have a live show tomorrow. Every Thursday at 4 Pacific, I go live on my channel, and we just hang out and do a Q&A, and I'll, shoot the shit about whatever I did last week. And we went to a drive-in. I haven't been to a drive-in movie since I was, 8 years old maybe? And we went, and we've got this one in town that's been there for, it's the same one I would have gone to as a child. So it's been there for 30 plus years. And we're like, what do you guys have? Reeve's like, do you have a drive-in here? Because she's from Chicago. And I'm like, yeah, I had not thought of that. I bet you the drive-in is still open and they're probably popular right now. And we looked it up, and sure enough, so we went to the drive-in that night, and it was packed. Everybody had to stay in their cars, which was entertaining. But some people were like mattressed out in the backs of their trucks and stuff, and they don't want you going about. And so Reeves made sushi. We took a little tray. We had sushi in the center console of the car. We had a cooler of LaCroix back here. So we had our water, our sushi. We air popped some popcorn at home. So we had nice clean popcorn to eat. And we could talk and make a scene during the movie without the people next to us caring. So we did a drive-in movie for the first time in 25 years.
What did you see?
It was very fun.
What film did you see?
It was garbage. It was the Bad Boys movie. But, we didn't have a lot of options last minute. We more went to get out of the house than to see the movie, So, but it was good. The sound comes in on your radio now on the FM. So that worked. You remember when the drive-ins were like a post with a speaker on it, and you have to like put the thing in on your window and all that, which I talk like I remember those days. That would have been when I was an infant. But anyway, now it goes through on the radio. And so we hopped around after to the other screens, just kind of driving around with the headlights off, scanning the radio to see what the other movies were. That may be illegal, so don't do that.
Lots of questions on if your salad dressings are back in stock, and the ones that aren't, when will they be back in stock?
I have an order in with the commercial kitchen as of 3 weeks ago. So, and if things were normal, it would take another week, but they are not. So it could be another month or two before I have the bottled stuff back, because it's just everybody's running a smaller crew. And my orders are going out a little slow. Like anybody who has successfully placed an order, there's no risk of running out of that's saved for you. But the orders are getting out the door kind of slowly because they're running a skeleton crew with no one's 6 feet and all that. But because it's food, it is essential business. So they are still operating out of the warehouse. So that's cool. But it is going to be a little slower. So I'm on it as fast and hard as I can. But it's as long as I keep coming on this channel, things are going to keep selling out. AJ is too damn popular, and so I can't manage inventory with her.
Yeah,
that's what happened last year.
Yeah, one company won't even let me promote them because they're so afraid. So some people join us in progress. So Barbara says, "Who is this guy?" And the answer is Dillon Holmes from Well Your World. And how did you come up with the name for your company? Because you're using "well" as a verb.
Right. It was someone I knew before that had it as Well Our World was her Twitter handle or something. And I'm like, that's a cool idea that you're using well as a verb. I think it should be Well Your World. And it should be about this whole food thing that I've been kicking on at the time for a while. And so I'm like, yeah, so that's kind of how it came. Somebody else's idea that I, with permission, took and modified slightly. Isn't that what everything is? You should try my ketchup.
So any hopes for a ranch in our future?
Well, the ranch is tricky to do because the beans are really hard to jar and make shelf stable because of the pH thing. So in order to get the pH low enough with beans, which are technically a buffer, it's called in the food science world, chemistry world, I guess. And so you'd have to add so much acid so it would have a really strong flavor of like vinegar. And so the bean thing is really hard. I could do it with nuts, but then that disqualifies a lot of people that don't eat nuts. I could play with cauliflower and see if that could work. I can't do potatoes because as soon as the potatoes cool to room temperature, they get hard. That's why this sauce, you just want to make it in the amount you need. I mean, it keeps, right? I can add hot water, blend this up, reheat it on the stove, whatever, and it's fine. But like, you can't sell it in a jar and put a 2-year shelf life on it. So what I might do for the ranch is like a spice blend where you add either and I could even have the blend have soy milk powder in it so that you just add water to rehydrate the soy milk powder in the spice blend, kind of like a dry mix like this would be. And then it's got the dill and all the seasonings in there. And then you can add nuts optionally, excuse me. You can add nuts, you can add beans if you don't do nuts. What else? You could do the hemp seed like you do in the dressing you mentioned, or maybe that was chia seeds that you did in the one that we had, that poppy one when we had at your house was super good. So that's maybe how I would do the ranch, because I don't want to just put nuts in it and then you're immediately limiting your audience for that product.
The only problem is I'm personally allergic to soy, so I just hope it could be something that's not soy, maybe like.
Okay. So that's, yeah, I'm just spitballing here. I don't have anything planned, so I'll keep that in mind. And because you're not the only one.
Right. And maybe like you could have an Alfredo sauce mix. You can have,
oh, yeah.
God, I mean, the sky is the limit.
Those ones, yeah. So it would be cool to make a blend where you just, it's way easier than making a dressing if you're just taking this and adding a little bit of water or whatever. A lot of time, even though it's not like open a bottle, pour it on like the other dressings are. So I'm still thinking on it, but that would be nice. I wanted to have a ranch, but we just couldn't figure out the science side of it. So, but we'll get there. And like I said, I want to do the marinara. I could see you doing a few different marinaras. Some people are mushroom and basil marinara, or and then maybe a couple of versions of the chunky salsa because people like spicy. I want to do, like I said, I have the video on my channel with the blended red sauce and the green salsa. I'd like to, those would be very easy to do jarred. So those are a couple. And enchilada sauce. I love all the Latin flavors, as you can see. So salsa, enchilada sauce. The Alfredo thing would be cool, but again, that might be a powder. So I've got a lot of ideas for sauces. We're not stopping development anytime soon. I don't just want 10 sauces and we're good. I want to get 20 or 30 and have lots of SOS-free options for everybody.
You want to be dominate world sauces. I mean,
right. I do want to take over the world. That's obvious. I didn't think I needed to say that, but yes, I want to absolutely annihilate all competition and own the entire market. It goes without saying.
I would love a hollandaise sauce personally for my asparagus.
How do you make it?
Well, it's always got lemon in it, and it's usually made, well, gosh, how was it? I mean, in vegan, it's usually made with tofu, and again, that limits me. But it's got like a lemon flavor, and I don't know. I've never made one, so that's why I like it.
I thought maybe you had a Chef AJ signature hollandaise that you wanted me to
No,
formulate.
I'm actually working on one just for myself, but I'm lazy, and if you could give me powdered sauce mixes for everything I've mentioned, I would definitely use them because I think that's so much easier. Reeves is saying you can sprinkle your dry ranch on your popcorn when you go to the drive-in. Yeah, people love sprinkling things on popcorn.
Yeah, spray it with a little lemon juice or something, and then yeah, definitely. We did a little bit of that the other night at the drive-through too. Drive-in.
Drive-through. I'm glad it was a drive-in, not the drive-through.
A lot of people there probably had drive-through that they took to the drive-in, but not us. There was this whole row of like 6 Jeeps that were all lined up in the front row. So they must have some sort of a meetup group where they just do their Jeeps at a drive-in, or we just randomly saw this. I don't know if it's a regular thing. I don't know drive-in culture yet. We're going to get to know it though, because we don't know how long we're going to be locked up at home.
I wish we had a drive-in movie theater here. I don't think we do. That they might have to bring them back,
Yeah, where I just ask a neighbor to turn their TV to the window, and then everybody parks along your street with vehicles, and you have just like one person that has their TV in the driveway, and you can get that thing that they have like for the Christmas lights when you drive through, then you have that one crazy person in your neighborhood that's got like everything flashing and it goes with some radio station. So then you do that, and then you can get everybody on your street doing a drive-in. That'd be some pretty good content, AJ. Maybe we should start working on this.
No kidding. I'm surprised that the movies aren't, paying, I pay for this, like to stream first run movies right now, at home while we can't go to the movies. You would think they would have done that already.
Yeah, I think there are bigger powers with the whole monopoly of film that exists that have something to do with that. But yeah, I wanted to see Mulan. I grew up Disney. I watch these Disney cartoons. I wanted to see the live action Mulan, and they won't put it on Disney Plus app. So I'm just, gotta go to the drive-in and watch Bad Boys.
Is there anything good you've been watching on like Netflix these days? Do you have any recommendations?
Everybody keeps telling me to watch this Tiger King thing, which I have not seen yet. I don't know, some tiger tamer guy. I don't know. Doesn't sound vegan though, does it?
Are they going to be mean to the animals? Because I need to know if anybody's watching it. Let me know. I can't watch any kind of animal.
Then don't take that as a recommendation from me, because I do not know what the show is even about.
Yeah, even if it's CGI, I can't watch animal abuse. I just can't, I tried to watch Game of Thrones because everybody recommended it. In the second episode, they were about to kill a dog, and I said, I can't watch this anymore. So, yep.
Yeah. Yep. So I don't know. What have I been watching? That show Curb Your Enthusiasm had a new season.
That was the best season, wasn't it? It was like Larry David predicted what was going to happen with all his hand sanitizer and toilet paper.
That was funny. The way that he had the Purell, and then the Purell caught fire. We can't spoil it.
Uh-oh. Spoiler.
We can't
edit this.
I just finished it yesterday. It was a great ending. I love it. His Seinfeld style full circle comedy that just evolves over the 10 episodes is very funny. I've always been very entertained with his work, but I can't think of others. We were watching Reeves hadn't watched Game of Thrones, so we have been watching some Game of Thrones, but I've already seen it, so I don't know what else is new.
Yeah, I've been getting. Anyway. Everybody's telling me to avoid the tiger thing because there's animal abuse and it's bad.
Oh,
yeah,
there
Larry
is?
David. Yeah, Larry David did do a PSA today. I'll send it to you, Dillon. It's very funny.
Did he?
Yep.
A COVID PSA from Larry David?
Yep, absolutely. So I'll send it to you. It's fast and it's funny. Well, you guys got any more questions for Dillon? Because obviously he needs to go eat his delicious bowl, which he has made, and wish we could all be eating with him.
Just don't forget. Yeah, I was just going to say the same thing as you. Probably go to wellyourworld.com.
Wellyourworld.com. If you go to /Chef AJ, you can get a free month of the cooking show. And the cooking show is different than the live that you do every Thursday, correct?
The Thursday one is a hangout. It's a free thing I do public on the YouTube channel. So I'll just be sitting here exactly like I am right now. We'll do a show and tell. People wanted to know my quarantine pooping routine. So I showed them my bidet toilet seat that I've been using for 6 years and how I don't use toilet paper and was completely unaffected by it. Haha, fancy me. And I'll just answer whatever questions, ask me anything type of thing on the Thursday one. And then the live cooking show is where we were zoomed out at the beginning of this, and I was frolicking around the kitchen, making things. And then we got Reeves here, sitting over here, and she's reading me the chat box. So that's what you can sign up for a free trial. And by the way, if you sign up for the free trial, you get 10% off of everything in the store. So 10% off all the bottles, the sauce, the dry blends, 10% off of all that. So, and then like I said, the back episodes and everything. wellyourworld.com/Chef AJ. There's no discount code necessary or anything like that. And you'll see the link right there to sign up for the free trial. And cool, we're doing one this Saturday.
Right, and don't forget we need a Caesar salad dressing too.
That one, I like the Caesar. I kind of played with Kathy Fisher's Caesar salad, Caesar dressing, which is super good. But I haven't figured out how to do it either with, it would have to be some sort of dry blend type of a thing. So far, I mean, maybe I'm going to try this steamed cauliflower thing and see what that does to the pH. And if that can be made shelf stable, then that could be pretty cool. But I don't just want to a couple of my products have xanthan gum in. It's not to thicken it into like a thick sauce. It's there to stop it from separating so much so that it doesn't totally I mean, you got to shake them anyway. But I don't want to make a ranch dressing that is so artificial that you're just using a thickener like xanthan gum in higher quantities to make it have texture. Those mimic those fake fat-free things that you get at the grocery store that make you want to vomit as soon as you open the lid. So none of those. Not to trash my competition.
Yep.
It's hardly my competition. You have a bit of a different audience.
Absolutely. Jan says, best cooking show ever. Sue says, I tried and Chef AJ when ordered, it didn't work. You don't need any kind of code with the Chef AJ. It's just wellyourworld.com/Chef AJ. But I'm sure if you have
that's the web address.
Yeah.
Just type that into your browser and then you'll see a little circle with my head and Chef AJ's head. next to each other, and it says, welcome Chef AJ followers. And then there are 4 boxes that you can choose from. You can go right to the store, you can go to the free trial, you can go to my Facebook group and my YouTube channel. I had to stick those in, didn't I?
Right. Stephanie says, what size is the small Vitamix pitcher, please?
Oh, I can tell you that. This looks like it's 900 milliliter maximum capacity. So on the other side, we'll have the cups. 4 cups, 32 ounces.
That's the perfect size.
And I have no idea, like I said, Reeves brought this. It is Vitamix. It's not like a generic brand or anything. So they got to be on Amazon, I would think. Their giant canisters are overpriced, in my opinion, but that's
When I
for
was
another
little,
time.
I used to love green goddess dressing. I don't know if you're familiar with that one.
I haven't made it. What's in it? Is it actually have fresh greens?
It's a creamy dressing that it was actually green because I think it had chives or scallions in it. I just remember it was 7 C's. Just from being little, I remember it was just very good.
It's a common one you hear about with all like the wrap restaurants and all that stuff. Everybody's got a green goddess these days. I assume it has milk in it or something.
Oh, definitely. Or sour cream. A blue cheese would be nice too.
That, now you're talking cheese. That is, I try not to, like, this is about as mimicky as I get. And this doesn't, for all of you wondering, like, this doesn't like taste like cheese, right? We've gone long enough without cheese that nobody even knows what cheese tastes like. This tastes like our cheese. This word doesn't mean the same anymore. So like trying to make a blue cheese dressing is pretty serious business. That would be, you'd have to, put some dirty socks in it or something to get the right kind of stench. I don't know how to do the vegan version of that. But you let me know if you know a recipe.
I bet Miyoko Shinner might be able to figure it out. Did you ever see that I Love Lucy episode where she was selling salad dressing?
I don't remember that one.
I'll have to find it for you. It's probably on Netflix, but I think it'd crack you up. Well, Dillon, it's just been a pleasure talking to you. I wish you so much success with your ventures. Thank you so much for supplying much needed products into our community, because it makes it so much easier for those of us that want to eat healthy and either are lazy or don't have the time.
Thank you so much for having me. It was fun.
Absolutely.
Don't forget to visit me on my channel. I'll see you again soon.
Okay, take care, Dillon. Thanks everyone for watching. Come back tomorrow when we'll be talking to Thomas Allen from California Balsamic. Bye.